Broke Ride Media.
You're now listening to The Straight Shooter Show with your host, The Straight Shooter.
All right. Well, this week I just, Christmas is, by the time you see this, is just in a couple of days. And Christmas has always been like my favorite holiday all through December. I've always been excited and loved going out and going shopping and seeing everybody all dressed up in their winter clothes. It's just always been a real special, exciting time of the year for me. And money has never really been a major issue for me in the past. I've always been able to buy the gifts that I really wanted to buy for people. And this year's been a little different. I think with COVID, a lot of people aren't out shopping like they normally are. They've been buying online. A lot of us have had really rough years. And I'm one of those people. I mean, last few months in particular, it's been pretty rough on me. I missed a few weeks of work for one time I thought I had COVID and I had to wait on the results. And then one time our electricity was out at work. They shut the place down for a week. And then I've had, several other issues come up that have cost me money. So this year I didn't have quite the funds that I would like to have, normally have. And I got divorced this year. So it was just me and my son. And it's just doesn't have the same feel. I hadn't had the same feel. And I got a little down about it. And I was really down that I wasn't going to be able to buy everything that I really wanted to buy. And it's really worn on me this month. But then I just came to the realization, a few days ago that so what? So what if I'm not going to meet the deadline? What if I'm not going to get my son everything that he wants by Christmas? So what? I mean, we're still going to spend the day together. We're going to spend time with my mom and dad. And it's going to be a great holiday. I'm going to enjoy my time with them. And you know what? Maybe in January or February, all my funds will be back the way they should be. And maybe I'll go buy him something then that he had on his Christmas list. It's okay. So my message really is don't stress out. If you don't have the funds or, if you just can't do everything that you really wanted to do by the deadline, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Don't stress out about it. Just enjoy the time that you have with your family and make the best of it. And I'll tell you one more thing is whatever gifts you get from someone, and I really don't care what it is, that person's probably excited to give it to you. And even if it's not something that you would use or something that you care for, they took the time to get that for you, whatever it is. Show a little bit of excitement. Just make them know that you appreciate it. I had an aunt growing up that got me something and my sister something every single year for Christmas. I never used any of it, nothing. But I remember that she always thought of us, always gave us something. So no matter what you get from somebody, they went out, they took the time, they spent a few dollars on you. Show them a little bit of excitement. And enjoy your Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.
That was funny because it brought up a story in my head because my grandma and my aunt, my mom, they all live together in Colorado. They're like that movie with all three females that live together. And my grandma, when we were growing up, that she always, well, actually, for our whole life, she's always got us socks.
Right.
And they were the lamest socks. So you always got socks. And then you get cool presents too, but you get socks. And we all hated. It's not that we hated the socks, but they weren't even socks that we wore,
Right.
So like they would just stack up or we would throw them away or something. Well, when my youngest daughter, Kinsley, she was like 3 years old at the time. And she was like getting to the age to where she could understand and communicate what she was getting and stuff. And she opened the first, and they always have you open the socks first.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so everybody opens their socks and it gets around to her. And she opens up the package and she goes, socks. And she was genuinely pumped that she got socks.
Yeah.
And everybody just started rolling. Everybody remembered that because she was so grateful that she got socks.
That's awesome.
And I think we could all learn from that because everybody else hates socks, but Kinsley absolutely loved them. And she remembers that and still pumped about socks to this day. So I think you should be grateful about your socks, even though it's not your tablet or your computer. Be grateful for the socks. Because
I'm going to tell you, one of the gifts I got a couple of times from my Aunt Martha that I talked about was those little bobby socks that girls wore that had the little like pom-pom on the back of them. You remember those from the 80s?
I sure do.
She got me a couple pair of those, and I'm like, why the hell would she get me? They're like girl socks.
Yeah.
And but I remember cutting that at a time that I needed some short socks. I cut that little ball off the back, and I wore those socks, and I was grateful that I had them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and she got me stuff like, well, she sewed, and so she made dish towels. Like she would sew the month, or you know, like January through December, and with a little picture, she would sew on the table or the dish towel, and give me a whole year's worth of dish towels. I'm like, I'm 15. I don't need dish towels. Why are you giving me dish towels?
Yeah, but it's creative.
Back,
yeah. My grandma always made us calendars with. She would sew calendars every year, and when you're young, you know. And my grandma just died last month, so it's pretty cool that I have all those calendars now. You know, it'll remind you she was 90 something, so I've had all my whole life, you know. But it's pretty cool that we have those calendars now. But at the time, you don't appreciate them, so.
Yeah, for sure.
And she got me some socks with the rubber bottom on them that you could actually like walk on the ground with and stuff.
Right.
And they come up to here and they're like blue and white and have all these crazy designs. And they had those balls on them that you could tie at the top, and they look lame. I mean, lame. And then I put them on, and for a couple of years I wore them around the house because they felt pretty awesome. Yeah. Don't wear them outside, but inside they were pretty cool. So
yeah.
Hey, didn't you have something you wanted to tell people about your merch that we noticed this week?
Got a few things to talk about. One thing on the merch is, yes, I did get a price drop on all the merch. So everything, if you've been to the merch store, and if you haven't been in the last week, go back and check because everything's a little cheaper. And number two is apparently there was an issue. It wasn't showing U.S. Postal Service as an option. There was a problem with the password or something. So the UPS rates for shipping were really high, and this wasn't caught till just a couple of days ago. Actually, Zach was trying to order something and called me and was like, hey, what's the deal with the shipping costs? At any rate, I got with the merch company. They fixed the problem. So shipping costs can be a lot less. If you were trying to buy something before and you got to the shipping part, I don't blame you if you backed out on me because I would too at the rates that it was showing.
So even now, if you go and you buy something on the merch store, you'll notice at the top the the UPS options are still there, and then at the bottom the Postal Service is there. Just nobody's going to pay that UPS fee. So just disregard UPS altogether. If you see the logo sign, scroll down. I actually bought a hat today that I like, the black. It's all black. You can change the colors on it, and I like all black hats. So I bought one of those, and it was $3. So
I'm gonna ask I'm gonna ask my merch guy to just take UPS off as an option altogether.
Yeah.
Their prices on my stuff is so outrageous. It doesn't matter where it's going. It's just ridiculous price. So,
but if it's still there, make sure by the time you go to buy it, look down for the U.S. Postal Service because those, like I said, those prices are ridiculous, and Jason didn't know about it, so don't think he had anything to do with that. So
yeah, I wouldn't have paid it. I wouldn't have paid that price to ship anything.
No, absolutely not. But there's some cool zip up hoodies and some cool hats that I like that I wanted to go get. So I went and bought them. So
the other thing I wanted to talk about is, I really am appreciating all the reviews that I've been getting on all platforms and YouTube. It's been fantastic. If you have not yet left a review, I would appreciate it. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, when you get done, if you wouldn't mind, go down and either hit hopefully a 5-star review or maybe even leave a comment, would be fantastic. I'd appreciate that as support.
Yep. Yep. And don't forget, email us your questions to thestraightshootershow@gmail.com. And the straight is STR8, the number 8. Email us all your inquiries, questions. If you want to talk to us on the phone, video calls, we need those questions. Your guys' input and interaction is what makes this show possible. Without you, we can't continue. So hit us with it all. So I'm gonna get to the emails. First one, I'm not gonna say these people's last names. You'll know who you are once we read it. So this is coming from Sammy. So Sammy says, first off, when I was saying how long I've been watching your TikToks, a long time, and he says you've been giving us really good advice, and he swears he's just coming to you for some advice. He said, so he met a girl in March. They made it official, and when they made it official, she had been dating a guy for 5 years before that, and they had just got out of a relationship. Everything was good in May, and she wanted to take a break. And he's saying when she did take a break, apparently she went back to her ex for a little while. And then this happened a couple times where they had gotten back together. She got back together with Sammy, and then she wanted to take a break again when the ex came back in the picture. And basically she kept doing that a couple times where she took the break. And we talked about this with Patricia Marie. And he went back and forth and took her back. So let me see what his question here at the end is. Well, she said that she was sorry and she really knows if she wants me and that she loves me and everything. And this is back in August, and ever since then, everything's been great and good. But there's been times where her and her friends will hang out in the bar and she'll invite him to drink with them and just to hang out. And I wouldn't like it. I would tell her not to hang out with him because it would still make me feel uncomfortable because of the past. And she swears that nothing's going to happen if she still loves me, that she wants me. But it's just tell her I don't want him around. So basically she's going to the club and inviting this guy to be there, but she swears up and down. And he wants to know what he should do.
She's for the streets. She is, no. I mean, she's trying to have her cake and eat it too. And no, even if nothing's going on. She dated the guy for 5 years. She left you to go back to the guy once or twice. And now she wants you to just accept that she's hanging out at the bar drinking with the guy that she left you for. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You don't put up with that. She has to make a choice. In fact, I'm just going to tell you, if it were me, that I would make the choice for her. I would be done with, I'm not going to be played the way that she's playing you. But if you genuinely want to be with her, then she's got to make a choice. Either it's you or it's that friendship or whatever it is that she's doing with that guy. But she can't have both. I mean, it's disrespectful to you. It's disrespectful to the relationship. No, don't put up with that at all. Not even one more time. I'd give her, I'd tell her today, either you cut him out completely or I'm gone. Or just be done. I'd be done if I was you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what my advice would be for him, because we talked about this in the last episode with Patricia Marie. You have to value yourself, and you are worth way more. I don't care who you are or what you've done. You are worth more than that. And if you get in this trend where you allow women to do this to you, it will become a trend, and you will allow the next woman to do it to you, and the next, and the next, and
or
the next.
If a woman lets a man do this to her.
Exactly.
Same thing. I mean,
yeah, women, like abusive relationships, you've got to get out, and you've got to hold value in yourself. You are worth way more. I promise you, buddy, you're going to find somebody else. Somebody that won't do this to you. But you have to value yourself first.
And don't allow it.
Don't allow it. I would be done now. Yeah. Bye. Be done.
Over.
Don't talk to her again.
Have fun with your ex-boyfriend that you left.
Yeah, bye. Yeah. Okay. I think Straight Shooter made it clear in that you should be done with that. So, okay, on to the next one. This is from Noah. He said, hey, man, so I wanted to ask for your advice. I have this girl best friend who I've been friends with for around 4 years now, but I also have my girlfriend who I've been with for about a year. And my girl best friend is upset with me because I haven't been talking to her as much and we're drifting away, and she's really upset. by it and feels like it's wrong to talk to her more because I have a girlfriend, and I feel like that isn't right to do to my girlfriend. Says it's okay, but morally I feel wrong. And also, I love the podcast. Keep up the good work. I'm excited to see what the future holds. Love you, man. So he's basically saying he's having a conundrum because he's with a girl, but the girlfriend is mad because he's not talking to her as much.
The female friend that he's been friends with for 4 years is upset that he's drifting away because he's got a girlfriend now.
Yeah.
You're doing exactly what you should be doing when you get into a relationship. You talk to your female friend less, and your female friend needs to understand that. If she can't understand that, or if she is putting pressure on you to put more, spend more time with her, or that you need to talk to her more, she's not really a friend. And it may be, your friend may have feelings for you if she's putting that kind of pressure on you. But you are doing exactly the right thing. That's what you're supposed to do when you get into a relationship, is not spend as much time with your friends of the opposite sex. She should know her place. I've talked about this so many times that I have female friends, and when they're not in a relationship, if I'm not in a relationship, we'll go out to the club together. We'll hang out together. We'll go out to dinner together. But as soon as one of us gets in a relationship, we don't do that stuff anymore. And we understand that. We understand that it's not proper any longer. If she's in a relationship, I know her man isn't going to want her going out to dinner with me. And I get it. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know what my intentions are. So I accept it. And your friend needs to accept it as well, as long as you're in a relationship.
Weren't we talking about not this specific email, but this exactly thing before the show started?
Today?
Yeah, I'm having like deja vu bad about that.
I don't recall.
I like that advice, though, that you said that he should, that the friend needs to learn to expect that, and that she probably has feelings for him. And you're probably right. She probably has feelings for him. Like, and he's torn in the middle. I mean, I wish he would have told me in the email what he wanted to do. What does he wanted to do? Because what does he have feelings for his friend or something? I mean,
I don't think so. I think that it's pretty clear that he has withdrawn from his friend because he doesn't feel it's morally right to spend so much time talking to her or being with. He's got a girlfriend now. That's where his focus needs to be.
I agree. And
that's what he wants to do, but he doesn't want to upset his friend by not spending time with her. He doesn't want to lose his friendship, but he's trying to do what's the right thing. And the right thing is what he's doing. Spend less time with your friend, focus on your girlfriend. And if your friend can't accept it, let her go.
Yeah, I think the only way you could spend more time with your friend, your friend that's a girl, would be if you integrated her into your relationship a little more, and your girlfriend would have to be cool with that. And I don't see that being.
Well, it could be. I mean,
yeah,
those two, the girlfriend and the friend, if the friend does not have feelings for him, it could be a healthy friendship with his girlfriend and his female friend. If those two became good friends, where the girlfriend trusted the girl, and then she could just come around more as part of the group,
or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's great.
Yeah,
I hang out with my female friends with their man there, all the time. That's fine.
Yeah,
but I'm just not going to go take my female friend to eat. Or, I mean,
no.
As a general rule, I don't. Has it ever happened? Yeah, maybe I've had lunch, but it's not like I met her there, we ate, and, but that's very, very rare that even that would happen.
Yeah. Yeah. When you grow up, you got to do grown up things, and sometimes you got to let some of the old people go. Yeah. And that's sometimes even guys there's some guy friends that when you get in a relationship, they're not conducive to your relationship. They want you to do things that aren't conducive with having a relationship, and you having respect for your significant other.
Right.
So that's even guy friends. So this isn't just exclusive to female friends. I mean, sometimes you got to let guy friends go too. So
yeah, a lot. I see that a lot. And I get that question a lot from guys. Or guys that their girlfriend doesn't want to let their guy friend go, but the guy friend is not being respectful of their relationship.
Yeah.
So
I could see that being even more of a case where a guy doesn't respect the relationship, because guys don't care.
A lot of guys don't.
Yeah. But that the woman has to care, and it has to stick up for her. So, All right, cool, man. Got some good questions in. Thank you, Noah, and thank you, Sammy.
Yes, thank you.
Sammy sent his in twice. He really needed advice from you. So hopefully we helped you, Sammy, and hopefully we helped you, Noah. So now we're on to the phone calls. We got 2 phone calls today. I know my name is Zach, and we have our first caller is Zach, and our second caller is Zach.
This is crazy.
So we're gonna have 3 Zachs, but I just want to let everybody know
Did you pick these guys only because they had your name?
Well, I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm the coolest Zach. So
I think you showed a little favoritism when you were picking the guests for today.
It might have been. It might have been a little favoritism. Guess what? They both spell their name just like I do, and it's the way God intended it. With an H.
Now we're going to get 1,000 emails from people calling themselves Zach.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, man, if you guys email me with all of your guys' name is Zach, you're gonna make my job very difficult. So make sure you put your last name in there, and it's still gonna make my job very difficult. So, all right, on to the phone calls. All right, our first call of the day is Zach A. Zach says he watched episode 2, and it's making him reevaluate his romantic life. Has written off dating, but wants to get back out there, but is afraid of getting hurt, and he just wants some advice from you. So here's Zach A.
How you doing, Zach? Doing all right today?
Well, I can't complain. I have all my limbs, and I woke up this morning.
That's right. That's right. All right. So he's read your email basically to me, but for the listeners, give me just a very brief rundown. What's going on? What is exactly you want me to answer for you?
Well, I guess I'm one of the people that, like, I look around and I see, especially this time of year, all the couples, they're doing all their romantic stuff, and it's stuff that I want to do. But the problem is, every time I guess, get it, there's a massive ending, I guess you want to call it, that just kind of happens, and it discourages me, and it's just kind of this cycle that has kind of turned me away from all of it. But there's a part of me that still wants to, have that happily ever after kind of deal.
Right. So you're basically afraid of getting hurt again. You don't want to invest all your time and energy into something and just have it blow up in your face.
Yeah, and I've kind of come to that lately, but my best friend, bless her heart, she's trying to push me back out there, and I'm just kind of torn between the not wanting to deal with it and maybe being dumb enough to try it again.
Yeah. So did you see the video that I did by any chance a few weeks ago about there was a guy that he had been cheated on quite a bit, and he was afraid. He was afraid to do it again. And I told him about when I was young playing baseball. Did you see that video?
I did not. I've been traveling the last couple of weeks for work.
That's okay. So I'm going to kind of go over that same video with you that I did, because I think it's a really good analogy for, what you're dealing with. And basically the deal was this kid that played for when we were young, we were like, 10 years old. But this kid that was on our rival team, he had a really strong arm, and he was wild as could be, but he'd throw strikes here and there, but he hit a lot of people. And sure enough, he hit me in the ribs, and it hurt bad. I mean, sure, I got to take my base, but it hurt. And for the rest of the game, the next couple times I faced him, and probably the next game, I think, I kept, as soon as he would be throwing the ball, I was backing away from the plate. I was scared to death. I was going to get hit again. And then it finally hit me one day that, you know what, if I keep doing this, if I keep backing away from the plate, I'm never going to get anywhere. I mean, he's going to strike me out because I'm not going to be up there to hit the ball. And he did. He kept striking me out. And so I finally stayed up at the plate, and I got a hit. And, there was other pitchers after him that hit me, but I was a home run hitter because I got it in my head. I'm not backing away from this damn plate. I don't care how many times I get hit. I'm going to get a hit. I'm going to get a home run is what I'm going to get. So my analogy there is, you know what? The next girl, she may do the exact same thing, and it's going to hurt and it's going to suck, but you have to stay up at the plate, because if you don't, you're right, you're never going to have it. You're never going to get a hit, and you have to just get that in your mind that if I keep backing away, staying away from the plate, where am I going to be? Nowhere.
Right.
In a romantic life. So, right. I mean, your friend is right. Get out there and try again. I mean, look at the girls that you are getting into relationships with too. I mean, I do a lot of videos on when you're dating somebody, when you first go out. I mean, you need to interview these girls. I mean, you need to find out what their values are on date one, what their values are, what direction they're going, what their goals are, and be careful about who you're getting in the relationship with. And I'm telling you this from experience, that I've done a lot of the same thing, gotten in relationships with girls that I shouldn't have because she was pretty. You know, she looked good, and I didn't really put a whole lot of thought into what her values were or what her goals were. I just thought she looked good, and here we go. I'm not saying you're doing that, but if that's the case.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at a lot more substance before you get into that relationship. And if you do that, you're going to protect yourself a lot from that type of thing happening to you.
Right. Okay.
Do you think that this phone call might encourage you a little to get back out there and say, you know what, I'm going to start looking around, see if I can't hook up some dates?
Yeah. Fuck it. Why not?
I like the attitude. Why not? What's the worst that can happen?
And the back where I am now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, be careful. Be careful about the ones you choose. I mean, you can go out on a lot of dates, but before you get too emotionally involved, figure out who they are.
Right.
I mean, there's lots of good looking women. So you pick a good looking one that that feels the same way you do, and be, you know. And another thing I always do, I've said in a few videos, I mean, that 90-day, I mean, I'm not telling you to withhold completely for 90 days, but if you start seeing somebody and you think she might be, you know, somebody that's pretty important to you, give it at least 90 days.
In the notes.
Say what?
Just keep track of all the red flags in the notes.
Exactly. 100%. 100%. 90 days, you should know somebody fairly well.
Right.
All right, brother.
All right.
Well, I wish you luck. And, hey,
call,
I want you to email me back, you know, maybe 6 months. Try to put it in your calendar when we get off the phone. I need to email Jason back in 6 months and let me know how things are going, man.
Absolutely. I'll let you know if I end up losing an arm or something.
I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you for calling, man.
You bet. Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah, I hear a lot of that, you know, from guys and girls. They're like, man, I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of getting, you know, used up. I'm sick of getting hurt. I don't want to put myself back out there anymore, you know. And I mean, you can be lonely or you can take a chance, but the main thing is just being careful about who it is that you allow yourself to get emotionally attached to.
Yeah, I saw this video on TikTok. It describes this perfectly. It was this video on TikTok of this like 21-year-old girl that was like bawling and was videotaping herself bawling over a heartbreak, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And this guy wrote a comment on there, and it was liked like a 400 million times because he said he was an older guy like us, you know, and was like, I hate to say this, sis, but this is probably going to happen about 3 more times before you find who you're supposed to be with. This is part of life. You know, that's not what she wanted to hear right then. Obviously, that's not what people want to hear right then. They just want you to fix it, but you're going to get hurt, man. It's very rare that you get into a relationship first thing and then it just work, man. It's just rare. We learn from failure, so.
It's the old saying that if you don't make mistakes, you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you got things are going to happen.
My wife right now, though, I think this all the time. I was thinking this today. My wife right now is so perfect and is so wonderful that if that didn't work out, and if she did something to screw me over, because I don't even think she's capable of it, even though she's a human, you know, and I know she is capable, but I don't see that in her. I don't see that in her. And maybe we will go on forever, but if she ever did do something to screw me over, I would lose all faith in women. So it's probably better that you give that guy advice than me, because you know what I mean? There are some things that could happen that would get me to not step up to the plate and swing the bat anymore. There are some things that can happen, but
when I lost my high school sweetheart, I didn't date for a year. I mean, for a year, I was like, I don't want to date anybody. I don't want to see anybody.
Yeah.
I was heartbroken, and
it's tough. It's tough to, if you've been hurt real bad. It sounds like this guy, Zach.
Yeah.
The second cool Zach. It sounds like he probably got hurt really bad, and he's real scared. But he wants. I mean, if you want to date again, you're going to have to step up to the plate, and you're probably going to get hurt a couple more times.
But maybe not.
Maybe not. Right?
If he's really careful about who he picks, who he chooses. You know, make sure she has values. You know, I mean, that's pretty important. That I always say that. Find out what their values are.
Yeah.
Because if somebody has values, if you can tell from the first few dates if they have values or not. If they have values, they're probably not going to cheat on you. They might break up with you, you know, if things aren't going well, but they're probably not going to cheat on you.
Yeah.
But if they're just good looking, but they're running wild and loose, she might cheat on you.
Sometimes we create our own demise in relationships, don't we?
Yeah.
Like we know who we should be dating, but we don't date that person.
Yeah.
We date the person we shouldn't be because there's some sort of toxic allure to them. And we don't.
Women do that a lot too. An awful lot. It's the whole bad boy thing, you know.
Yep.
They're going to keep the guy they should be dating. That's my friend. I want this douchebag over here.
Yep. Yeah. I can say on that matter, women and men are 100% equal on that we both, men and women, both do that equally. Yeah. Like date people that we shouldn't. I would say, women want to be taken care of and want the good guy at the end of the day. I'd say more women, but men, in the beginning, at least when we're younger, that's all we care about is sex.
Yeah.
And if that's what you're going to give us, then that's going to be a bad person probably. Most likely it's just going to give it to you like you want it, which is right then. So,
okay.
You want to keep that one?
I just wouldn't say that that's necessarily a bad person. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Because, I mean, you know, if you're in a healthy relationship, you know, with a good person, then, sex if she's going to be plentiful.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean someone that's going to give it day one, that person you're looking for to give it right then. I wouldn't say that's a bad person, but it's what you call a red flag, right?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. It's not meaning you're a bad person because you like sex, because it's a natural. Everybody likes sex, so.
Yeah. I mean, if a girl is trying to give that to me on the first date, in my younger years I would take it, but I would probably think, you know, she gave it to the last guy on the first date too, and the next guy.
I give advice to a younger woman that's in my life. I'm not going to say who it is, but I tell her all the time, I was like, these guys are not going to value you if you get on Tinder, swipe right, answer the message, go see them and have sex with them on the first date. This is why you're not seeing long-term success, is because you're not valuing your sexuality any. And I know you want to have sex. And then, she's told me before too. She's like, what if I just want to have sex too? And I'm like, well, then that's fine. But if you're looking for a relationship, then it's different. So, Zach, I hope we helped you. Like Jason said, please keep us informed. We want to know how you guys are doing long term after this. And if you find your lady, then send us a picture, and you could even call us back and tell us how it's going. So thanks for the call, Zach. And now we're going to move on to Zach M, which is another Zach. And so Zach says life hasn't been a friend of his, and and he's lost. It doesn't have any family, and he just needs some advice. It's kind of blanket, so I don't know exactly what he's wanting to talk about, but he seems like he's going through a really, really hard time right now and wants to talk to you. So,
all right. Well, golly, if no more information than he gave you, I know that you were played favoritism to the Zacks.
Yeah. Well, Zacks are cool. Name one non-cool Zach.
Well, I'm not going to do that.
Because you can't. Or are you going to say me?
I was going to say, I'm looking at one right now.
That's messed up, dude. I thought we were cool.
We are. That's why I can say that to you.
Yeah. All right. Zach M., let's see if he wants to talk to you.
Hello.
Hello, Zach. How are you today?
Doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Man, I am just fantastic. So, he read the email that you sent. That email's pretty brief, so enlighten me a little bit about what's going on and specifically what kind of advice and direction you would like from me.
Kind of like a little backstory. I was born, a twin. Grew up kind of, in and out of, physical, sexual, and mental abuse, foster homes, and all that. Never bounced around from family to family. I was 13. I wound up going to Alabama. I was there till I was 2018, so it was like 23. And then wound up supposedly going in the military, trying to do my own thing because, like I said, I've always kind of had myself.
Right.
And then the military, they told me, not to say anything about my past because, they can technically disqualify me. Well, they found out, I was on some psych drugs and stuff like that because, my mother, she just wanted to take the pills, honestly. And so then I was stuck, in Ohio. No friends, no family. But even though I had family here, but wasn't what it should be. Well, then I got my CDL and I went over the road. I was over the road for about 3 months, and then my fiance at the time, she immediately went back to cheating, being with her ex, and so then I thought, well, maybe I should go back to Alabama, where I did have an uncle who I thought was kind of helpful, and living at his house, I was paying $500 a month for a bedroom, abiding by the rules, be home at 10 unless I'm working, stuff like that. And then they all of a sudden kicked me out, no warning. It's homeless again. I've been homeless several times since I was 18, sleeping in my car. And then, now I'm back in Ohio. And now that I'm here this time, it's like I have an aunt and uncle that's helping me out a little bit, but it's not what it should be, because now I have to deal with my real parents, being around, knowing where I'm at, a lot of family members bringing down some negativity and stuff like that. And I want to get out of this situation, but I don't know which way to go about this situation. Should I just have to move to another state or, because I don't personally contact them. They just show up and, it's always something negative, grabbing about me doing this or how I do that. And, then there's not the job situation that I'm running into is, I was only over there for 3 months, and a lot of local jobs nowadays want a year of OTR experience, even though I've, have a full year of experience of driving. It's just some of it's local.
Right.
And so I just don't know which way to go. It's crossroads, I'm 25 going on 26, and it's been nothing but, kind of a crappy life. And, I understand somebody's situation is way worse than mine, but I'm just ready for happy times,
Yeah.
I understand life will always have down moments, but 25 years, it's been kind of rough. I'm tired.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it. And so are your mom and dad, are they still married?
No, sir. My real parents, they divorced when I was 2 going on 3, and then we were doing the weekend to weekend thing, and then my dad kind of just disappeared out of our life, and then because one weekend he put my head through a wall, handcuffed me to the bed, smothered me. Made me eat raw chicken, and then I got sick, and he put my face in it like a dog, and you know,
So is he,
my
when you say that your parents come around, your aunt, where you're staying with your aunt and uncle there in Ohio,
hmm
and so when you say your parents come around, your dad too?
well, no, he hasn't been around. I was 19, so 6 years ago. My my uncle passed away. Well, actually, no, he didn't pass away. My grandmother was here and found out I was homeless in Ohio or Alabama, and she was like, "Well, I want you to graduate school." So, because I was working 3 jobs in high school, trying to still go to school. So she moved up from Alabama or Ohio to Alabama. And when I come up here, my aunt got a hold of me and she was like, "Hey, your dad wants to meet you." Blah blah. Well, I got there and he gave me $500 and tried buying his way in my life. And I was like, "No, that's not how this works. Keep your money. I've done it this far. Here's my number. Let's just develop a relationship." And then when we went back to Alabama, I heard from him for a week, and then he just quit talking to me.
And so when your mom comes around, your uncle, your aunt and uncle's where you're staying, she have a new husband, or she bring, who is it that's showing up causing drama? Your mom and who?
My mom and my twin brother, and then her lesbian partner.
Okay. And so is that your aunt and uncle, your aunt or your uncle's sister, I guess, your mom?
Yeah, my mom is my aunt.
Okay.
My mom and my aunt are sisters.
Okay. And how does your aunt and your uncle feel about them coming around and causing drama?
I mean, they just tell me to, not listen to them, simple stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm like, that just doesn't work. I was like, I tell them, I was like, I don't want to be around them. I don't want to see them. And sometimes, like, if there is a situation that I do know ahead of time that she's coming to get something or what have you, I'll just disappear.
Yeah.
I'll leave the house, and I shouldn't have to do that.
How do you feel about, how did you like driving OTR? Was you okay with it?
I was okay with it, but my problem was, obviously going through the little mental battle of, your fiance cheating with you, and then the company I went with, they pretty much, I was training with a guy for a week and a half, and he's like, "Dude, he can drive, he's good to go." And I said, "No, I'm not very comfortable backing at like truck stops and stuff.
Right.
Can you train me a little bit more?" And they're like, "Well, you did a good back here on the yard." I was like, "Well, that was a straight back,
Right.
And then they turned me loose and dealing with that. And I had a really close, I bumped the truck, but there was no damage. And then I told them, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And, seeing the scenery and stuff, I love that part of it. And, now that I'm single, I think I could do it a little bit better, but I don't know.
How old were you whenever you were doing that OTR?
I was 24.
Okay. So like a year and a half ago?
Yes, sir. A year and a half ago.
Well, I'm going to tell you what my recommendation is for you right now under your circumstances is, and I know that with your fiance cheating on you while you was on the road, that had to have an effect on you too. I mean, mentally, and, make it harder for you to concentrate on what you were doing. What I would recommend you do is go back over the road, but not with that same company. Just don't go with a mega carrier. Find you one there in Ohio, or if you go back down to Alabama, find you one that is OTR, but doesn't have to be a huge company. One where you can live in your truck. You can get you a hotel room maybe once a month, but live in your truck and eat as affordable as you can. Keep like peanut butter and jelly in bread in the truck, and just sock money away for the next like 2 years. If you can do that for the next 2 years, whatever. I mean, if you have friends that you have there in Ohio or in Alabama that you can talk to, maybe when you can come through and see, so you can have that social aspect. Over the next couple of years, I think that you taking a couple of years with no expenses, no bills, no rent, no, I wouldn't even have a vehicle if I were you. I mean, if you got a pickup truck or whatever, I'd sell it. I'd get rid of it. I would just live in my truck for the next year or two and sock money away. And then I'd make a fresh start. Wherever it is you want to make a fresh start, whatever city you want to live in, you'll have a couple of years over the road, and you can get you a local job, driving for somebody after a couple of years, and you'd have all that money put away in the bank that you could go put down on a house somewhere and buy and have a low mortgage because you put a bunch of money down. So
yes, sir.
That is what I would do.
I don't even have literally any friends. My supposed best friend that I've had since, my junior year of high school, he wound up, having sexual relations with my sister. So, yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, when we get off the phone, I'm your friend now. I'm going to give you, when this conversation is over for the podcast, I'm going to get you my phone number, and I'm your friend, and you're going to be able to call me, and we're going to be able to talk on the phone while you're driving, because I talk on the phone while I'm driving all the time with my, Bluetooth, and I'm your friend now.
That's what I'm talking on right now, and I really appreciate it. I don't like to, save, my story for, sorry or pity, but maybe if it could help somebody to try and overcome it like I'm trying to,
right.
Maybe it could help somebody else.
Well, I mean,
because, like I said, growing up, my twin brother, he was always the favorite. He never went into foster homes. He never went any of that. And when I first moved to Alabama, I was 11 going on 12, and I told we were living with some, what they call swingers. I don't know what is allowed to be said or what's not allowed to be said.
Yeah.
But we were living with swingers, and they had 2 kids, and my mother and my brother and me, and we were living in upstairs. And you go up the stairs, there's a little landing, there's another little landing, and there's 3 of us in the bedroom, and I didn't have a bed or anything. And then a shirt got ripped, and I got blamed for it, and then I got thrown down the stairs and locked in the basement for 3 days.
Jesus.
No food, no none of that. And then I go to Alabama, and one of the uncles who had me in Ohio, who used to do sexual stuff to me, hell, I got stuck to him again, and beat me up with a hammer and all that. Well, I went to a church camp, and they popped towels and stuff, and I have real bad, probably PTSD from popping towels and some of the stuff that I went through, and I pushed a bunk bed out of from the wall and protected myself, and then they called child services, and then I went from group home to here to there until I could get somewhere, and then my uncle took custody of me. Well, then he when he got me, it was all the time calling me gay or faggot or punch me in the face or, oh, well, you got a D or you failed, just go out here, pick up rocks by hand. And it was just all this excessive, violence for no reason. And, when I turned 18, I left in the middle of the night, and then, I had my own house for a little bit, and then I stayed in a camper when I couldn't afford that. And then, whenever I was homeless sleeping in cars, my grandmother found out, and she's literally the only woman that stood up to help me out. And now she's 75 years old, and she can't do what she could do back in the day,
right?
And when her sister's husband passed away, she had to move back to Ohio, and now they got home health aides taking care of her and her sister and all that stuff, and now it's just me again, and I just want to be happy. That's really what I want to do.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Who doesn't want to be happy? And it's clear that you've been dealt a rough hand. I mean, it's clear. And that's why the fact that you've already got your CDL and you've already driven over the road some, you have an idea of what what the life would be. I mean, you can the world is your oyster. I mean, you can do anything you want. And if you just go, I mean, living in a truck for 2 years may not sound all that appealing, but if you set that goal in your mind that, you know what, I'm going to get a fresh start. I'm going to get away from all this drama and all this nonsense. That is the key to starting your new life. I mean, if you have no expenses except eating, all you got to do is feed yourself and you eat cheap for 2 years, shoot, you could have $100,000 in the bank, you know, at the end of 2 years. And if you just keep that as your goal, look, I'm saving to buy a house, and that's what I'm going to do. So for the next 2 years, I'm driving a truck. I'm going to call my buddy Jason. I'm going to call my grandma whenever I can. And, you know, you'll meet people on the road anyway. You'll make friends on the road, guaranteed. I mean, you'll at the truck stops, you'll get to talking to somebody, you'll trade phone numbers, and you'll make friends out there over time. I promise you that. So then you'll have friends all over the country, you know. So
Yes, sir. And that's the thing too, you know, with eating cheap. I mean, that's not a problem for me, you know, because 25 years, you know, this is kind of my fault. I can change at any time, but when you're used to something for so many years, you know, all I grew up eating, you know, was hamburger helper, pizza rolls, and just garbage because, you know, she was so doped up or he was so drunk that they wouldn't cook, you
right,
know. And so I know about eating, you know, lunch meat, you know, eating on a budget to be healthy.
right, yeah. And you know,
and I really,
here's something else: is what you've been through in your life. What I can already tell from this short conversation from you is there's two types of people. There's people that grow up and they mimic the way that they were brought up, whether it's good or bad. They mimic, this is how I was raised, so this is how it's supposed to be. And then you have a different kind of person that whether they're raised good or bad, they go the opposite of the way they were raised. And I can hear just from this conversation, you want the opposite life of how you were raised. And you have the ability to make a life for yourself, still have a beautiful wife and a happy family, and you know how not to treat your children based on the way that you were treated when you were growing up. And I hear that in your voice. I know that you will make a great father. You'll make a great husband. So
yes, sir. It's not too late in life to do that. I mean, I'm almost 26.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Hell, I didn't even have my son till I was 30. So you're doing just fine. I mean, and even just having this conversation with me, looking for some direction, looking for some reinforcement, I mean, tells me you've got the desire, you know, you've got it in you. So I hope you take my advice, and I'm going to talk to you more after this phone call, but I really think that the OTR is your path. That's your path to freedom. Yeah. That's your path to a future, to have an opportunity to save that money and build a life for yourself in whatever city you want. Any city. You could go anywhere you want.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I was just thinking that too, you know, and I was looking at a few different companies, and then there were some that were like, oh, well, it's a week here, you know, or a week out, weekend home. I'm like, I don't want to be at home. I'd rather be at work,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, because of that bump on my DAC report, there's a couple companies that weren't wanting to hire me, and then Werner called me. I don't know if you've heard of it, Werner Enterprise. And they were offering me, you know, 43 cents a mile. And they said after I do that for 3 months, then I can get on like their dedicated accounts.
Yeah.
That make, you know, upwards of 70 to 80,000, but they're mega carriers at the same time. And then they told me that if I wanted to, like for my home time, if I wanted to stay out for however long, up to 7 days off, I can stay out for 6 weeks, get 7 days off, or I can stay out, you know, 6 months, but I still only get 7 days off.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to help you find the right company for you. When we get done with this call and you and I are talking just privately, I'm going to help you find the right company to go to work for that'll hire you even with the bump on your DAC report. Is, you know, it'll be fine. But I can help you find the right company for you that, you know, you can stay gone all the time, or you can, you know, if you're running like that, you can tell them, hey, I want to go through Oklahoma City, or I want to go through Alabama. They'll get you there because you're running. So I will help you find the right company. Okay. Does that sound like a deal?
I really appreciate it. I really do.
Absolutely. 100%.
You know, and I see all your videos, and I look up to it. I was like, man, I wish I had a dad like that, or I had somebody in my life, and it's, you know, something I've never had.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry for that. I mean, I really am. I'm sorry that you've been dealt the hand that you've got, but I'm telling you, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you any way that I can. We're going to get you where you need to be.
Yes, sir. I really appreciate that.
All right, Zach. I'm going to end this call for the sake of the podcast, but stay by your phone, because here shortly I'm going to call you back. You and I are going to just have a private conversation.
All right. Yes, sir. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Zach. I'll talk to you soon.
Goodbye.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Fuck, he done made me cry, man.
Yeah.
I see that a lot in your TikTok comments. That makes me fucking sad. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to talk right here, but because I relate with that guy so much, and I've got something to say to him. Is like, I grew up and I did not have a good example of what how a family should be. I didn't know what a family was, you know, and I felt the same way as him. Whenever I was 25, 26, I was like, am I ever going to be able to do this? Because I don't even know. I don't even know what a proper family is. Well, the first thing you got to do, Zach, is you got to learn what it takes to make a proper family. And then I know you've never seen it before, but you can create it for you. You can be the leader, and you can create a family and do it different. And you can reset these things. You can change the course of your life. Your past means nothing, and you're going to get there. Your upbringing means nothing. You hold the keys to change your future.
His past teaches him what not to do.
Yes. No, I mean, it does. Your past is definitely, in the end, it's going to make you stronger. Your past, everything you've been through, you're going to be 10 times stronger than somebody that didn't go through something you went through. Your past, what I mean is by means nothing, is it doesn't define you. Your past doesn't define you. You can make a family. You can have a good family, and you have a better idea of what it takes to get there now because of what you went through.
I really believe that the world is open to him. You know, he's already got that CDL, which is huge.
No, I was thinking that same thing.
He has the opportunity to, I mean, he really can. He can save all that money over a couple of years. He can go pay cash for, you know, $100,000 house, or buy $150,000 house and have not much of a mortgage and get a local job. And he can pick the city he wants to start in, you know.
Yeah.
And he'll make friends in that city, and he can have a full life away from all the drama.
I've got a truck he could get in right now.
Dealt with.
I've got a truck he could get in right now. I mean, it's not my truck, but I know a guy that offered me to get into a truck, but I'm in a different industry now. I'm not in trucking, but yeah. I know a guy that could get him in a truck right now. I mean, and I know you do too.
I got people here that could give him a job.
Yeah, I know you do too.
That's what he wants to do.
Yeah, without a doubt. So Zach, we're going to get you a job. You're going to be over the road. Just like Jason said, we think you need to get the hell away from your family, at least for a little bit, you know, get away from them for a little bit, just so you can figure out how you want to be as a person without them. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
You need to figure out how you want to be without them. You got to figure out who you are, because you are not who you are when you're around them.
Yeah.
Get out, go make some money, and become yourself. And you are still very young, and you've still got a long life ahead of you, and you get to create your future. You do.
That's right.
All right, man. Cool. That was a tough one, huh?
That was a tough call.
That was tough. I was over here crying like a little girl, but anyway, dude, what a great show, man. And I love what you do, man. I love what you do. I thought that same thing too about you before I met you. Was I wish I had a dad like that. And I felt him feel that. That's why it touched me, is because when I watched your videos, I was like, man, I wish I had it. Now we're so close in age, I don't look at you as a fatherly figure, more as a friend. But when I first started watching your videos, I was like, man, I wish I had a dad like that growing up. And I think so many people do, man.
That means a lot to me whenever I hear that too.
Yeah. You're doing a lot more than what you even know.
People keep asking me, are you making money yet? Are you making money yet? And I'm like, I get paid every single day.
Yep.
It's not financially yet, but I get paid every day whenever I get messages from people telling me, hey,
we talked about this week.
Difference.
We're not doing this for the money, man. We're having so much fun.
Yeah.
And this is so fulfilling when we get people like Zach that call. And dude, this is just a lot of fun. We're doing something.
And I mean what I say. I'm going to be Zach's. Me and Zach are going to be friends.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I know you mean that, man. I don't doubt that for a second. I was actually going to text you his number or text him your number from here since I have it here.
Yeah.
That way you could have it. So that way he could have it and you guys could go, because I put the input in it to where you wouldn't have it. So it was blocked. So I'm gonna
get the number. I'm gonna call him as soon as we're done with this.
Perfect.
But to wrap it up, so everybody stay up at the plate. If you get hurt, I understand, be a little weary for a little bit, but you got to get back up to the plate or you're never going to get a hit. And, if you're surrounded by drama and, life just isn't treating you so well and the people that are around you are bringing you down and they're not positive influence on your life, then you got to get away from that negativity. You got to figure a way. How can you get away from people that are just going to bring negativity and drama to your life all the time? And there's always somebody that loves you and somebody that cares. So anyways, you guys may not always agree with everything I say, but always going to shoot you straight.
You have been listening to The Straight Shooter Show. Come back every Wednesday for new episodes.